Hey guys, so just working tonight, kind of pinning down the switch here. So I've already just finished gluing in my little support struts here. So those just use some trusty solid testers because I want a nice solid, really hot chemical bond there. So that's pretty set up. And so then I was just testing here to make sure how our switch is coming out here. So we just have that kind of sitting in here, and let's just do just a little bit more testing here. So that's going to sit right there essentially just like that. And so then we hopefully will be able to just have a nice switch here. And yeah, that's looks like that's just going to work just great. I'm super happy. It uses the spring that's of course built into the switch. If you look inside one of these switches, that's the little spring that's in there. And so that's why it, that's coming up and down anyway, so I'm just kind of piggybacking on that. It doesn't need to be, I mean, there was at one time I was thinking I'd like it to pop back out to full distance, but it's such a small amount and it just tends to gum up the works in there. I just don't want to take any risks of having anything kind of go wrong with the spring. If I had a bigger selection maybe and could find the perfect one, that'd be one thing, but in this case it actually works really nice. It's just perfect. In fact, it doesn't even kind of go out of where I want it. So yeah, really happy with it. So I'm just going to actually just glue that into place right now actually. So let's just do that here. So a couple of things I'm going to do is just go along these little struts. Just put a nice bead along there like that. Want it pretty good because again, we don't want this going anywhere. There's a little bit of pressure on it, obviously when you're flicking that switch, a little bit of pressure there. And I'm going to actually add just a little bit to the tip of that. Don't tell anybody, but it's going to just glue it just a teensy bit to the button itself. So that's kind of one of the things that I kind of want to do here. So let's just place that back in here very carefully. Yeah, so we'll just set it down here. And it just goes down like that. Just like that. And then let's just do a little bit of testing here. Make sure, yep. Beautiful. So, this has had a good chance to set up here. It's been in a couple of hours now. And it's just nice and rock solid there. And just working even better than I kind of had ever hoped. We're just going to do a little bit more installing. Remember, we've installed our little bit of foam cushioning as an initial step here on the battery pack, and we're going to be just kind of sliding that down in there. It's very solid, but I do feel like, as with any foam, over time, that'll sort of get a little bit of memory there, and it might lose a little bit of that traction that's kind of going to hold that battery in place. And so I'm just thinking here that I might take another little bit thicker foam and just add just a little bit more just right in this spot, and just to give it just a little bit of extra pressure sort of downward against that. And then I can still remove it if need be, because it's foam. I can just kind of compress that up and I'll still be able to just pull that out, because remember, I'll have access to this whole area here, and it can open up just like this, so there's not really any issue with getting at that. So install those quickly and just get a feel for how that's gonna work here. I think it's gonna work, and as I say, I want to kind of just give a little bit of pressure down as I'm installing that, just like that. Lovely. This is a pretty good, this stuff holds up pretty good. It's kind of a foam that's designed for all kinds of different audio installations actually, but works. So it's really good stick on, as you can see, on plastic. It's actually kind of tears away after a little bit of time against plastic, in my experience, it kind of almost tears the foam apart when you try to take it off of that. So it's a really good thing. So you can see that's added even quite a bit more now. In fact, it's a little bit difficult now to actually move that, but it could, if I needed to, I could still take, definitely I can still take that out. It's not going to be a problem. What's interesting is I have my my charging port here, so really I don't actually need to take it out very much here when it comes time to just recharging it. I can just kind of almost leave it in place, tilt it up a little, plug it in, and away I go. So that should work really well. We know that this definitely goes down there, and we know that that should, there, and that kind of comes up just like that. So that should definitely allow us to have that go down. There we go. Yep, just like that. Nice. So that's perfect. And that's really, oh, it's looking so good. And that actually adds extra compression on that battery. So now it really can't go anywhere because the foam is being kind of compressed down there in addition. So it's looks great. I think that's going to work out really, really nice. Get a little bit on these pins like that. Oops, let me just get a little bit more on that pin. There. That should be good. Got a little tester spider web going here. Okay, just like that. If you have to, I could still work this even now. Probably it could still come up. It'd be pretty messy and pretty gooey. It would have already kind of started bonding these plastics together. But then it turns really solid really quick, so you're not waiting around for too long. So tonight, just looking at, going to be doing some finishing here on the CommLock. It's kind of all finished, the painting, and all of the pieces actually are on it now, and it just looks really, really, really nice, authentic, and very happy with how it turned out. One of the things that occurred to me is that do actually have the Aztek Dummy set, as you probably know as I've been going through it here. I haven't used it extensively, and I have a set of stickers with numbers on them that are made for this, and so I was kind of thinking that I might actually just try these out and see what it looks like here. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a go, and if I don't like it, of course I can just, that's the nice part about vinyl stickers, you can always just take them off if it's not kind of working for you. So let's just give it a go here. Oh, it's looking so good. I'm just so impressed with this model. It's just been the greatest fun. I mean, all models are fun, but this one has really just been great. I think maybe because it's like 1-to-1, it's like a prop, and it just feels so obviously authentic, and so that's just a really neat feeling to it, I think. Hey everyone, so a little update on my the numbers on the keypad. You'll notice they're not there anymore. I did decide a little bit of, again, my little perfectionist streak there. I realized that they were just a little too shiny. And I had talked about just taping off and kind of just dulling it down just right in place, but I realized that I've got the keys at exactly the right shine. So that's a nice semi that I've spent quite a bit of work to get just the right level of shine that sort of to reflect exactly what it was like. And so I don't want to dull that. And if I was to lay down, and if I, the level that they were at was similar to this. And anyway, long story short, I decided to take them off. And so I did that, and then I just laid down a dull coat over that last night. So that's what I've got there now. So I'm just going to reapply them here. 7. We're on our last row. Thankfully, we won't have to do 9. I guess I never had to dial 0, I guess. Looked like they were dialed 0. For whatever reason. That edge of that 7 comes really, really... Well, so does it at the bottom, actually. Weirdly low. I'm going to bring that up just a touch. I don't mind having the edge kind of tight. There. Nope, still too low. There. That looks a lot better. Something like that. Oh, that looks so nice. That kind of just makes me really happy there. That was well worth the little extra delay and a little bit of extra work to just get a really nice finish. The other option would be is to look at, much like I did with the decal, putting it on a transparent piece and attaching the transparent with just some of my, just using this stuff is great. I could just put it in 4 corners and it just stays really adhesive over time and lets me, I could just then pop it off and put in the other one and then I could change the view screen. So it would let me do whichever one I want. Yeah, that actually is kind of I kind of like that idea. Because I have lots of this material and this worked great, and so there's no reason. It's extremely thin, and so that yeah, that, you know what, that could work great. And the funny part is actually there's really good illustrations where they did modify in several cases. There's actually some pretty famous shots where Koenig, his ID, the picture gets flipped. Normally it's like this, but there's some pretty famous shots where the way he was holding it, they actually go in and kind of sloppily insert his picture the other direction so that you can kind of see it when they were, photographing it. It looked the right side up from an edge. So yeah, that's maybe I'll be able to post some of that. I can post just a little picture of that just to show what I'm talking about there. Hard to describe, but anyway. So what I'm getting at though is that it kind of it almost does look, if you see the close-ups, it almost looks like it is sort of like a replaceable thing, and I believe it was. In fact, I'm just looking at it right now, and that picture on the version with the TV in it, you can see actually his picture's even peeling up there. Like, it's a replaceable. The picture looks interchangeable. And we know that's true, as I say, because in some of that shot where... So yeah, I'll show you the little picture where it's peeling up. It's clearly doing that. And yeah, so it kind of, I think it's actually more consistent with, to do this kind of approach I'm talking about, is, as it turns out, would be pretty consistent with kind of the way it actually worked. And with the way that with the tool was designed. Well, we'll say it was kind of designed that way. Okay, so just got the second one marked out here. So we're just going to do the exact same process here again that we just did for that guy. And we'll just mark this off here. There we go. Grab this. Get out my microset here. There we go. So now remember, this little piece that we've got is exactly the right size. So that actually makes it easy for placement because we know it's got to kind of be exactly on there. It's not like we have to kind of like manually try and center it or something. It's like, nope, it should just go straight on there, kind of like that. There. there. I think that's looking pretty great. Yep. Just wanted to pick it up to make sure on those edges. But that's looking really, really awesome. Love that. In there a little bit to kind of see how that's really worked out. I'm just going to take off some of those fluids now. So you can see just what a shiny decal. These decals really are quite shiny. You can, I mean, look at that. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's a really impressive amount of shine on those. No biggie. I'm just going to be doling this down. And now that it's on a plate, I didn't have to do that in advance. So just going to do the couple of sort of hard decals that all the rest are kind of, as you probably know, have been applied either onto sort of very thin polystyrene sort of plates. That's for the viewfinder and the 4 different decals that go for that. And then as well the IDs. I have both of those actually here drying now. I just earlier tonight applied a nice dull coat to me on those. So they're a lot less shiny than they were. So that leaves these two really is the only one, because all the other ones I ended up using my vinyl pieces from, and so that leaves these. So just at this point, these I've already also put a coat of my, I have a sort of a decal film that I put over these to dull them down as well, so they're just nicer to apply and give just a smoother, nicer application. There we go. There. So we've got that pretty nice there, I think. Just doing a double check. It's always good to sort of look at it from a couple of angles here to make sure that we've got sort of it straight. There's been a few times, you know, over the years when you kind of thought you had it straight and it turns out it wasn't all that you wished that it had been when you could have moved it. So I like to just spin it around a few times here and make sure it all is where I want it to be. Anyway, let that dry and we'll get this other one on, and as you know, in the meantime, these guys also they've actually had a fair bit of time. I think these clear coats don't take long to dry at all. The way it's going to work, let me actually just pull that out here. I've got you can see here they talk about some of the ways that you use this. You apply micro liquid tape to any surface with a little paintbrush, which I've got one right here for this, and then you allow it to sort of dry, and then when it's clear, it's tacky. Yeah, so let's just put a little bit of this down here. So if I'm going to have that, then I'm just going to swap out and put in Commander Koenig here. So she's talking to him here. Should be great. Just put it in like that. There we go. Yeah, that looks great. I don't know why that just makes me smile and very happy. guess it's, it's any time when you've had something, from your youth that sort of takes on a new kind of new life and new reality in a way that you only kind of imagined. I guess that's part of it. So it's pretty nice. Anyway, right, so I was going to be applying that last, that's our last thing, right? Yeah, that's the last. Yes, this is the last thing on this, and then it's officially done. Let me just getting the micro set ready. I'm expecting very similar to the other one where we won't need to do anything other than just get the basics on here. We probably won't even need to use the microsol again, so that's great. There. Oops. I've got so much fluid, I'm going to have to get rid of some of that because it's not even able to really stay in one spot. So that's when you know you've got just a bit too much fluid going on. Just kind of rolling to get any potential bubbles or anything like that out from underneath there. Yeah, looks really great. Very, very, very happy with that. Hey guys, so just a quick update on the CommLock. I've actually been busy actually filming the video and taking photographs, and I love it. But it turns out that as I've been doing the video and pulling up some of the photographs, the originals, there's actually a couple of finishes that aren't quite right here, and so I'm actually going to do a little bit of extra work here. Even though a lot of the photographs you'll see have this finish where I've got, the various metallics that I've got here. This piece should have been chrome. So I removed, if you recall, all the chrome. This one should not have had it removed. It is clearly supposed to have a mirror finished chrome. So that guy's got to be going to strip this off and get out the chrome. And then the other one is this one, and that's on the surface of this button. It should be more mirror chrome. The edge is right. It is. It's just the way the originals didn't. It was almost like there was some kind of, I don't know, application or something. Anyway, that's the way it is. So I'm going to actually try to be true to that. So what I'm going to do is actually attempt to remove this. I'm hoping I'll be able to do that. It's, of course, heavily glued in there, and but I'd really rather have it separate and be able to work on these chromes off this. If it absolutely comes to it, I'll just create a big mask and protect this. But I'm going to try taking that out if I can. Just lay in a little bit of that, a bit of our stuff here. So the approach I want to use is kind of just bringing it up like this, so that I'm not touching above the line. It always has to just be kind of just laying it in here below the line like that. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'm going to be using Alclad II, which is a lacquer. I do have I built just recently, a new air paint booth that I really love, and it's a much more powerful explosion-proof fan with an enormous amount of power in that, that's venting straight outside now, and a much bigger booth now, and so I can I can spray these safely. I do wear also a respirator, but just having that explosion proof fan makes a huge difference. I always was hesitant, and I don't haven't liked to use lacquers indoors for that reason. For chromes, I'm going to, I really have to use this. This is the Alclad gloss black. This goes underneath the chrome. Goes underneath a number of the Alclad metallics, even some aluminums, and I think stainless steel, and several of them anyway. And so that'll go down. I'll put a couple of coats of that right over top of this gloss coat that's already on there, and then I'll lay down the chrome. So this goes right on top of that, and we should be able to get our get back to a nice version of chrome that these pieces started with. So I can't stress it enough. If you happen to be doing the model and you're watching this before you do any stripping of chrome, you can strip everything because all of the rest of it needs to be stripped. But these two pieces, well, the front part of that one anyway, do not need to be stripped. So you'd be better not stripping these two and just masking off the top of this button. And if you're really being picky, just dull down the edges of it. That would be a nicer way to do that. So you'd have the preserved chrome on top, and this one would be pure chrome. So next night here, the gloss coats had a good chance to dry, obviously, and it looks really great. Don't know if I can really show you just how glossy that is, but it's pretty ridiculous. It's just beautiful mirror. That's that Alclad for you. Yeah, so sprays down just beautifully. It's just so wet and perfect. So, just out of the booth about an hour ago. So it's not quite, obviously not ready for handling, but just thought I'd show you here. It turned out really, really great. Extremely happy with the chrome effect. It's really got the mirroring. Actually, I'll bring a light in a little bit more. Maybe you can see. Not sure. I guess it's kind of hard to see just how shiny that is, but I can see my reflection in it. I don't know if you can see my... See that? See my... Yeah. It's a mirror. So, excellent. Hi guys, so just wanted to give you a quick update. I had been doing a little bit of work. As you recall, we kind of finished the new chrome painting last night. And then today I've been working at just trying to clean up the edge a little bit. And as it turns out, I really got dedicated on trying to remove that switch. And after all of that, I eventually was able to get that out without causing any damage to the surrounding area. So that's great. Kind of made me laugh after all that. But eventually did get it. So just going to attempt to, as you know, I kind of had sanded down the edge and got a really nice line on the chrome on the front face of that button. But in my estimation, the side is not that same chrome, and so but I am going to use a milder version. I think it is like just a dulled down. It's just kind of a dulled down. So I'm going to actually use the Vallejo chrome, which is kind of a sort of a dulled down version of that. And so I think it's just going to be a little closer match than the aluminum. So I'm just going to apply that. So really the method I'm going to use here is my perfect line is just on that top surface. So I'm just going to, I have my nice low tack Tamiya tape here, and so I'm just going to kind of set him down on there, and it's just going to be now on that surface like that. And so now I'm just going to be spraying kind of along the edges of that, and so that should give me a nice line there with the sort of the lighter chrome version. Okay, so out of the paint booth, really happy with how that came out. So we ended up with a pretty nice line there, and now that edge you can see is just got that nice, it's sort of chromey, just a milder version, and that's exactly, I think, every time I look at it, everything I can see, I just want to make it as accurate as I just feel like it'd be too shiny. The edges just don't look that shiny on the pictures that I can see. Or maybe it's just an optical illusion, I don't know. So that is really it. This time for the CommLock, I've had it back into the paint booth here, the rework on reapplying the chrome on the front face of this guy and on the bottom here. And I just finished as well, just adding a duller version of chrome on the sort of the facing side of this guy. So that is now complete. And all the rest is already was done, and I'd already actually started taking some pictures and in fact making the video. So this has just been a sort of a detour here for a few days to get this just more exacting. I wasn't thrilled when I was making it. I'm looking at those pictures and going, you know, that actually isn't quite right. I'd taken the chrome off, and they're quite shiny, and so really very happy to have done that, and now it's certainly worth it, I think, now that it's done. So yeah, I'm just going to be heading into the photo booth here. I'll take a few more photos of it, and then maybe a little bit more video, slide that into the sort of video montage coming up as well, and hopefully enjoy that. There is going to be a bunch of ones with the old finish. I'm not going to get rid of those. There's still some nice photos there. Yeah, if you did enjoy this video and kind of enjoy the build, even half as much as I enjoyed doing it, please consider just leaving a comment and maybe giving me a thumbs up down below. That'd be great. And if you really like this kind of content and don't want to miss anything, then definitely consider subscribing and turning on the bell there so you see when I release something new. And then I want to send out a real special thanks to all the people who've already subscribed over the last year. I'm on my 1 year anniversary, and it's just awesome and exciting that people are caring enough and enjoying the content enough to actually subscribe. It's just great. So really appreciate that. Yeah, hope you enjoy the stun gun coming up here, and that you enjoy lots more models here down the line.